How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe down there. It helps out, means a ton. You guys get plenty of fun stuff, not just Jujutsu Kaisen. We do One Piece, Kaiju number 8, a bunch of different stuff. So, this is a topic that has come up in conversation for me like 3 or 4 times recently, just organically out of nowhere, even though we haven't had anything to do with this in the manga for quite a while. But it's talking about Sukuna's true full curse technique, because we are led to believe and have pretty much been told, it might have even been like officially stated at one point, I can't remember, but anyway, that the slashing is not the entire curse technique. It isn't just cleave and dismantle. So there's been a theory for a long time that there is a kitchen theme to Sukuna's curse technique. This goes along with the knives, the fire, things that are used in a kitchen. And something to kind of support this idea is the fact that when you look at the knives that were used to display both dismantle and cleave when Sukuna used his curse technique one time, I believe this was when he was using his Malevolent Shrine domain expansion against his fight with Mahoraga. Anyway, in the picture, these are 2 types of knives that are most definitely used in professional kitchens by chefs who cook food in kitchens with knives and fire and all of this stuff. So the type of knives, it's not like a typical pocket knife or a typical combat knife. No, these are chef's knives that are used in a kitchen. So that kind of helps to go along with that theme. And then having fire thrown in there when he used, well, whatever fire arrow thingy launcher ability he used against both Jogo and Mahoraga. He used that, and well, fire is something that is very, very commonly used to cook food in a kitchen. So something I want to touch on real quick is Sukuna chanting the word open before he uses fire, because he did this for both Jogo and Mahoraga. Both times he went to use this ability, he said the word open before he could do so. When he used this against Jogo, Jogo was very surprised and even thought to himself, like, I thought Sukuna's curse technique was just slashing everything. And Sukuna said a couple interesting things. One of the things he said was, I figured you would have known about this, but maybe a cursed spirit wouldn't know that. Sukuna also told Jogo that he wouldn't cheat and reveal his curse technique. That was the other thing that he said to him when he first said open and revealed that he had a flame ability. These are things that can lead you to think that this fire is directly part of his curse technique. One way I've thought to possibly explain the open thing, keep in mind if we're going with a theme of a kitchen, the kitchen is open for business. You can't open a restaurant if the kitchen itself isn't open. So open, the flame turns on, it's ready to cook, food's ready to go, we're open for business. That is one way you can take that. Something that I thought about with him telling Jogo a cursed spirit might not know about this, he could possibly be referring to the fact that he has an innate curse technique that is possibly a somewhat common one, or at least one that has been seen throughout the ages. So if a sorcerer was to see him use this technique, it might not throw them off as much because there's a possibility that they could have heard of this specific curse technique. Remember, if Megumi uses the 10 Shadows, that's a really famous curse technique. A lot of people have heard of the 10 Shadows and know of it as a technique that is passed down through the Zenin family. It's very well known. It's possible that curse spirits and curses, well, they don't really know curse techniques or exactly what they are until they fully see them for the first time. This curse spirit hasn't been living around in society communicating with a bunch of other people that use curse techniques. That might just be the reason. A curse spirit might not know about it because, well, all the different curse techniques that are out there isn't common knowledge to curses. That might be part of it. The reason he says open might actually be something really simple, and this is something I didn't think about when I believe I was talking about this with Luminaire. Him saying open might be a binding vow that he put on himself, similar to the way that Kento Nanami put a binding vow on himself to where it limits his curse energy when he's working business hours, but if he has to work overtime past, what was it, 5:30 or something, his curse energy swells up. So it could be something like that. Putting a binding vow on himself to where he can't use his flame abilities unless he chants the word open, could be a binding vow that Sukuna put on himself to give him extra firepower when using that ability. That isn't a huge binding vow and super restrictive, but that is a restriction. If you need to hurry up and use the flame ability real quick, like it would come in handy right now and you need to use it and you have to take that split second to activate your curse technique, then chant the word open, then be able to use the flame technique and go through the hand motions and everything, that is a drawback. So it would increase the power if he did something like that. So that might just be something that Sukuna did. Keep in mind, we know if he chants the word enchain, he gets to use Yuji's body for a minute, but he can't kill people. Maybe that's just something Sukuna likes to do. Put a word as the activation for a binding vow. We've seen him do it once. Who's to say he didn't do it another time with his own curse technique to add a little bit of power to it? It's a possibility. Something else that came up in conversation with, I believe it was Embracer in her top hat. Something that came up in a conversation with him is the possibility of Sukuna's curse technique maybe having a similar effect to curse spirit manipulation. I said that I would be okay if the kitchen theme kind of curse technique, at the end of it, the final portion of the curse technique would be consuming whatever you cooked to gain cursed energy to be able to heal yourself or make yourself stronger for a time or whatever it would be. But I don't think it would work in a way where you could then use whatever curse or whatever you consumed in another way after that. That to me would be too much like curse manipulation, because that's the entire point. You consume it and then can use it at free will. If Sukuna could do it, it would technically make sense, because when you get done cooking food in a kitchen, you get done cutting it up with your knives, you get done cooking it with your fire, it is then consumed and eaten. So cutting something up, burning with fire, and then consuming it for its cursed energy could be the full, process of the entire curse technique. Something like the smallpox deity that Kenjaku used in the Shibuya incident had a process where it would do this countdown with the gravestone thing and then count down from 3, and if the person was still encased after the 3 count, then the disease would set in and yada yada yada. So we know there can be things within curse techniques and domain expansions and other stuff that have full processes to them. So yeah, it might just be a multi-step thing for Sukuna. And on top of all this, you also have him saying, I won't cheat and reveal my curse technique when he unveiled the fire. So that can lead you to believe that it is part of his curse technique, because he said that literally right after he opened it up for the first time. So yeah, all of these things can lead to this whole kitchen aesthetic with the knives and the fire and all this. It could be something as simple as a binding vow to explain away the whole open thing. We've seen Sukuna use binding vows with words as activators before. It could just be something really simple that he likes to do because it can be very useful and simple and easy. Who knows? All kinds of stuff. So let me know what you guys think about this whole kitchen themed idea for Sukuna. Let me know your thoughts if you have any other ideas for his curse technique at the end of the day. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like I said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe down below. It helps out, it means a ton. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.